Welcome to this demo of how to use the Shape tool in PhotoPea. I'm going to show you some of the different shapes you can create, and we will also have a look at combining shapes and applying layer styles to them. So first of all, the Shape tool is down here, and it could appear as any one of these icons. When you first load into PhotoPea, it will probably be the rectangle tool. Now, if I draw a rectangle just in normal mode, like this, you can see it's just drawn a rectangle and it's put it on a new layer as a shape. If I click on the Move tool, I'm perfectly able, as long as I've got transform controls on, to be able to resize this rectangle at any time. If I click away and come back, I can resize it. So I've drawn myself this red rectangle. Perfectly lovely, nothing wrong with that. And if I draw another red rectangle here, you'll notice that comes onto a different layer. I can also draw ellipses like this, and if you want, you can hold down the Shift and you will get a perfect circle. Same if you hold down the Shift on the rectangle, you will get a perfect square. The Line tool lets you draw a line, and again, if you hold down Shift, it limits it to being straight across 45 degrees or straight down. There we are. I'm going to put mine at 45 degrees. Now, there are several options on each of these, and I'll show you on the rectangle one. First of all, you can set the fill. So the fill is the color in the middle. You can also set a stroke like this, so I can set this as a color. And if I draw a new one now, you can see when I've clicked off of it like this, it's got a green outline. You can change this at every time, as you saw here. So I can come onto the Shape tool and I can change the stroke to a different color. And I can even change the size of the stroke. So on and so forth. So I can really precisely create shapes. Now, the parametric shape has some different options to it. So this is creating either a polygon, a star, an arrow, or a spiral. If I select polygon, sides 5, I can create a perfect pentagon. And if I go for 8, it will create an octagon. With a star, this is the number of points, and if I go for a 4-pointed star, you can see it does that just fine too. So it's really nice for creating simple shapes. The inner radius, so if I set this to 80% and create it, you can see, well, actually it's up the number of points to 8. And you can see it creates a star, but much shallower. If I change that to 60%, like so, and if I change that to 10%, it creates a really spiky one like that. And you can play around with all the sort of different settings in here. Lastly, we have on here arrows, and again, you can create arrows just like that. The last option here, custom shape, allows you to draw a shape, which could be kind of like a triangle or something like that. But up here you can change the shape and it will load in a whole pile of custom ones. So for example, I might want the Google icon, like so. And now the shape it draws will be the Google Plus icon, Google Plus being dead and buried years ago. So we've got a really, really cool way to create these shapes that we can edit at any point. Okay, I'm going to delete all these now and show you how to combine shapes. So what if I want to draw a rectangle with a rounded end? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw myself my rectangle, and then I'm going to draw an ellipse. I'm going to come up here on the top, make sure I get about the right height, and I'm going to hold down the Shift key to make sure it's kind of rounded. And then I'm going to use the Alt key and zoom in like this so I can see it properly. And I'm going to move this layer like so. You can see I've done it slightly too large, that's okay. And you can also use the arrow keys to get it exactly right. And that needs to come out just a little bit. There we are. And if I click on the background, you can see it looks like it's just one shape, but in fact, it's still the two separate shapes. I'll hold the Alt key to zoom out now. And if I want to combine these shapes, what I can do is I can hold down my Control key, select both layers, and then I can just put in Merge Layers, like so. And now you can see it's just on the one layer. And if I click onto this layer with my Move tool, I can spin this around and I can grow it and shrink it, and you can see it's all happening to the entire layer. So the shapes have been combined. When you click on the background, that ugly little line goes away. And just to prove it completely, if I go onto my Shape tool again, and then add a stroke around the outside, and I'm going to make the stroke bigger, then you can see that the stroke just goes around the outside of the shape here. So I've created this new shape that wasn't there before by adding several primitive shapes like the rectangle and ellipse, and then merging the layers together. Your task for this lesson, now that we know how to deal with shapes, is to carry on enhancing the fast food flyer that you were using as last lesson's topic. Try and add some more shapes to it to make it look good. Remember, you can also use the layer styles in here, doing things such as adding a gradient overlay, or you can do things like the drop shadow, just to make your leaflet look extra stylized. Thank you very much, and I hope you get on with it well. Copy and paste a copy of your image into the Lesson 4 OneNote sheet when you're done, and I'll look forward to seeing what you've got up to. Thank you very much.